Hey, what's up guys? Today we're going to be checking out the Durgod Fusion 65% mechanical keyboard. Now this keyboard's got this like really unique design which gives me these Nintendo classic vibes, especially with like the ridges at the top here. I'm personally a big fan of the design language the keyboard has going for it. It kind of gives you that like nostalgic feeling. It takes you back to those old school Nintendo days. Quick backstory on this keyboard. This keyboard originated from a Kickstarter that was ran by Durgod, and they managed to raise $2.1 million to get this keyboard into production, which is kind of a big deal because most keyboard companies, they don't like raise a bunch of money, they just kind of start slow and build up. But with this one here, there was a lot of interest for this style and the wirelessness and all of the features we'll be covering that this keyboard has to offer. So let's kick things off by checking out what was included in the box. In the box, what you're gonna get is the keyboard, of course, a USB dongle that is hidden on the keyboard, and you can find it by popping the logo out at the top of the keyboard, and the USB dongle will be attached there via magnets. And you can connect the keyboard with the dongle, Bluetooth, or wired mode. The choice is yours. Two cables, one of them is going to be USB-C to USB-C, and the other one's going to be USB-C to USB-A. A keycap puller, which lets you pull the keycaps out if you want to do some cleaning behind the keyboard every now and then. A white Velcro cable manager, which will help you tidy up if you are using this thing in wired mode. A coaster, which is kind of random, but it is a nice coaster nonetheless. It kind of feels like it's made of a mousepad material, and it's also stitched on the side, so a pretty quality coaster, I would say. A little Durgod sticker, and last but not least, a quick start guide which will show you how to connect this thing in any mode and use some of the features the keyboard has built into it. The keyboard does come in 3 different color options, and the one I have here is the blue/yellow one, and they call this the Navigator. They also have like a Nintendo colored one which they call the Steam, and they have the original which is orange and white, and this one's okay, I guess. My personal favorite one is the one I have here, which is the Navigator. As you may have noticed, this isn't exactly a slick and slim keyboard that lays low on your desk. It's more of a mid-sized keyboard, and I do like the height of it because I don't feel like I have to prop my wrists up so high to reach all of the keys. And each keycap individually isn't like super tall either, which is good, which is going to create a more comfortable typing experience, which we'll touch on later. So the keyboard itself is made of a fairly durable plastic material, which pretty much is covered on the front, the sides, and the back. In terms of the actual features on this keyboard, the yellow switch up here is simply an on and off switch, and that's pretty much all it does. The logo in the top left is magnetic, and it does pop out, which stores the USB dongle which you can connect the keyboard with. And as I mentioned earlier, you can connect it with Bluetooth or the wire. Now if we take a look on the back of the keyboard, you can see that there are rubber grips on each of the corners of the keyboard as well as the midpoints, which is really going to help prevent the keyboard from sliding around while in use. And the keyboard also does have 2 adjustable legs which also have rubber grips attached to them, and this is going to create a more ergonomic, comfortable typing experience depending on the size of your hands. For me personally, I found that it was more comfortable without the legs extended because I have mid-sized hands, and if you have large-sized hands or small hands, you may have to play around with that to see what's more comfortable and what works better for you. Now if we switch over to the side of the keyboard, you can see that there is a USB-C port, which is where the cable plugs into if you want to charge the keyboard or use it in wired mode. And the keyboard does come with 2 different cable options. You get USB-C to USB-C, which is going to be handy for laptops, and you also get USB-C to USB-A, which is gonna be handy for computers without a USB-C port. And speaking of charging, this keyboard will last you 20 to 40 days on a full charge depending on how long you use it, which is a pretty good amount of time. I'm thinking you'll probably just have to charge it once a month and it should be good to go in wireless mode with the Bluetooth or the wireless USB dongle. Now let's get into arguably one of the most important features on a keyboard, and that's going to be the typing experience. This keyboard does come with 7 different switch options, as you can see on the screen here, and all of the switches are going to be factory lubricated, which is going to be really nice because when your keys are lubricated, it's going to have a more fluid and polished typing experience. And now here's a typing test for y'all to hear what the keyboard actually sounds like. So as you can tell by the typing test, the keyboard was fairly quiet, and that's because I'm using the red silent switches on this one here. And the typing overall felt really great, especially with the lubricated mechanical switches, which makes it feel much more fluid and polished. As well as the stabilizers. These things have really good stabilizers built into them, which makes less key wobble happen while typing on the keyboard. There is a little bit of key wobble when pressing moving the larger keys around, like the spacebar or the enter key, but it's not as bad as some of the other mechanical keyboards I've used out there. But overall, typing experience on this thing, really good, and would highly recommend it if that's something that's important to you, which it should be. In terms of software customization, you can install some software which is only compatible on Windows computers, and you can pretty much do what most keyboard softwares do. You can change your macros, have profiles, change what each and every individual can do, so you really can get into depth with how the keyboard actually works and functions. So my pros and cons with this keyboard, I'll start with the cons and then end with a good note on the pros. And the one thing I really did not like about this keyboard was the price. It is a little steep. It's gonna run you $170 as of making this video, which is definitely not a budget keyboard. Most keyboards that are like good and affordable are like $100. But like this thing's almost double that. But I'll be honest, the price point does match the quality because the typing experience is amazing. It's got this really unique design, and it has a few different connection options like the USB dongle, Bluetooth, or wired mode. Not to mention that it has software which can really customize how the keyboard actually works. And overall, it's a really solid keyboard for the price. And if this keyboard is a little bit on the pricey side, and if you're looking for something more budget friendly, I'm gonna leave a link down in the description below pointing to the EpoMaker SK1, which is a 60% mechanical keyboard, and that's also a solid keyboard for the $70 price mark, which is $100 cheaper than this one. However, if you do have the budget to buy something more expensive like this keyboard here, I'm gonna leave a link down in the description below pointing to where you can buy the keyboard. And if you are interested in staying up to date with what's happening in the tech world, make sure you click that subscribe button and I'll keep you in the loop. Don't forget to like this video and leave your comments down below. I'll see you in the next one.